Hello, and welcome to another episode of Dr. Says This About That. I am Dr. Cedric Wood, therapist, family therapist, couples counselor. It is the 6th of January, 2026. Exactly 5 years ago today, the mob stormed the Capitol, and we were all wondering what was going on there. Of course, we learned that President Trump spurred the people on and stoked the flames of the people in the crowd for them to go and attack the Capitol building, which was absolutely ridiculous. But President Trump wanted to keep being president. I mean, he has the strongest megalomaniacal gene of any president we've ever had. And I kind of wish he would realize he has that and tone it down. Now he's gone and invaded another country, captured President Maduro, and his wife, and flew them to New York City. Amazing. We're all amazed. Is this good? Is this bad? Is this okay? Oh my gosh, this is just really shocking. What a bold move that is. And we're all trying to decide, is that good, okay, or wrong? Of course, many of us have decided that it's either 100% good and right. Why? Because this president was so corrupt. If we believe what we've been told, he has his hands in everything, like the oil and the drugs. And he had, tragically, 30 Cuban, I guess, soldiers right near where he was living that just got killed like that. I'm so sorry. My heart goes out to their family members. They're shocked. What can we do? Can we sue the United States? So I guess if we just went in on foot, they would have been activated and started shooting a lot of our soldiers. Well, I'm guessing, don't quote me on this, but it kind of looks like our Air Force went in and just bombed their barracks in the middle of the night, just killing them. There was not much of a firefight. And we went in there on foot and captured President Maduro and his wife and brought them back to the United States to face justice. Now, who's unhappy about this? There's a whole lot of Venezuelans that are very happy, so I guess there's a lot of Venezuelans who are not happy. I mean, they're doing okay in spite of the fact of the president's shenanigans, and so they want him back. In fact, they might be benefiting from his shenanigans. Bring him home. Of course, they're going to say that. They want the life that they had to continue. But all the Venezuelans that weren't benefiting from him being president, they're all saying yay, because while he was president, our economy is trashed, and we are having to cross over into Colombia to be able to buy the food that we need. And so many families are broken apart. Maybe the kids escaped to the United States or just countries to the north. And one father said, I don't know if I'll ever see my children again. Well, why aren't they just traveling freely? Because of President Maduro, who had a ironclad grasp on his country. He was going to be all powerful. And then he's surprised that somebody went and captured him. He shouldn't be surprised. We are innocent, he and his wife said in the courtroom yesterday. So you haven't been involved in any drug trafficking at all, any shenanigans with, what, 1 million barrels of oil or something. Nothing like that have you been doing. Of course they're going to say, we're innocent, hoping the judge would say, oh, you're innocent? Oh, well, then not a problem. Officers, escort this man out and put him on a plane back to his country. Of course, he knew they would not do that. But that's the reason why you say I'm innocent, is you hope that it will have a good outcome and a good impact on the judge in the courtroom. so many Venezuelans are in southern Florida uh, marching and doing the opposite of protesting. They're saying, yay, good. We're glad he's out of there because we had to escape out of a terrible country because of him and come to the United States. So we're not even to the beginning of this whole saga. But it's just interesting that that megalomaniacal gene that President Trump has, he says, gives me the right to go in there and invade. And of course, President Bush did the same thing with Noriega. So it's not like it's never been done before. But why can't these presidents of these countries south of the border have some kind of idea of character, ethics, and morality? Why? Why do they think that if I've got the power, I can do whatever I want to enrich myself and my cronies? I read that years ago they nationalized the oil industry. You know what that means? It means they stole oil and oil refineries and everything else going along with it so that they would make 100% of the profit. And all the American companies that had invested millions, if not billions of dollars in that whole industry just had to go home. The president didn't say, we'll reimburse you $15 billion for all of your assets here in Venezuela. No, they just took it over. And that happened before. Many, many years ago, there was an American company that went over to, I believe, Saudi Arabia, set up all these drills and refineries. And one day, the head person in Saudi Arabia said, okay, it's all ours now. Thanks for setting this up so that we can become billionaires over here and build huge, tall towers in our cities. Okay, bye. Did they reimburse him? No. That is common theft. One of the 10 Commandments, thou shalt not steal. But man, when you have such temptations like billions of dollars, it's like, well, I think it's okay. And so they just go ahead and do it. It's so shocking. And then all the people, like the one guy that they keep showing, interviewed, that was wrong of President Trump to do that. So he's okay with graft and corruption and stealing and whatever else you want to call it. He's okay with that. Well, I don't care about that. What I care about is somebody who becomes president, however they do it. They should be left alone. I mean, Venezuela did a good job. They had election, and Maduro was not reelected. The other person was elected, and Maduro said, oh, too bad, I'm staying in power. Did that inspire President Trump to say, oh, you can do that? You can just say, I'm going to ignore the elections and just stay in power. I mean, it's really an amazing thing that he would behave so badly and yet 4 years later to be reelected. I don't think that has totally to do with his wonderful personality, his wonderful plan to make America great again. I think it had to do a lot with his two opponents. At first, it was a aging old man. You might call him a doddering old man, so nobody had faith in him. So the Democratic Party said, we'll put the vice president up there, a woman, which is wonderful. We all love and respect women, or maybe the masses have a hard time thinking of a woman as being the president, and especially one that giggled a lot. Hello, there's an English word called gravitas, which is somebody being very mature, very calm and wise, I guess, and she did not have any gravitas. So her advisor should have said, you have to learn how to stop giggling. I mean, just look at the president of Germany for so many years and the Prime Minister of England for so many years, they were women of strength and maturity and talked clearly with a strong voice. And so I think that's a big part of the reason why President Trump was reelected, because of his opponents. And so here he is. He's had a lot of fun for a year, doing all kinds of shenanigans. And, a lot of the things he's done probably will benefit America and was probably wise. I've said it before, I'll say it again. He should have at least said, I'm so sorry to all the employees who were being fired and sent home. I'm so sorry. This has got to be hard on you, and we'll help you out in this or that way. But I'm going to stand by my decision. We have to decrease the government payroll. Okay? And so that did not make him look good. And so that's my advice to him. I wish President Trump would call me and say, will you be on my board of advisors? I need someone like you to help me be calm, cool, grounded, and centered in the way I speak and the things I decide to do. I would really like to help you so that you can have 3 more successful years, and so that you will go down in history as one of the greatest American presidents. Wouldn't that be great? President Trump, I worry. Who taught me that? I have his book right here. I always do until it comes time to pick it up, and then it's not there. Dr. Dan Weil taught me to say, I worry that you're going to be seen as a villain. And especially if we lose the midterm elections. Even you said today that you might be impeached if we lose it. President Trump, get ready. We are probably not going to do well in the midterm elections. Get a clue. You're a smart guy. You are hurting so many people in service to your megalomania. Bring it down a notch. Tone it down. You want to have as many Americans be supportive of you as possible for several reasons, okay? So, good luck to you. I hope that Venezuela will turn itself around and start doing the right things and sending no more boatloads of cocaine and other narcotics to America. You're right, President Trump. We've got to protect the lives and the minds of our young people, and in some cases, not so young people, who are dying and having brain damage secondary to drug use. It is wrong. It is bad. It is not good. Look what happened in the terrible tragedy with Rob Reiner and his lovely wife. Years of their son using drugs. He started off probably being schizotypal in his personality disorder, but the way they interacted with him and the drug use just made him get worse and worse. And now we know what happened. So tragic. I don't want any tragedies to happen in the United States government to anyone. Okay? Listen to what I'm saying. Thank you for tuning in. This is Dr. Cedric Wood. Call me at 214-394-4040. Let me help you communicate with your family members and with your country as well as you possibly can. Bye for now.